Welcome to Costco, the world's third largest retailer. This is the place where you walk in with the intention to stock up on 48 rolls of toilet paper and instead leave with a 6-person inflatable hot tub. They also make 73% of their profit before you even put a single item in your cart. And on the surface, it seems simple. Sell in bulk, keep prices low, charge a membership fee. But behind the concrete floors and giant tubs of peanut butter is one of the most quietly brilliant retail strategies in the world. A company whose private label outsells entire multinational brands, and a company who has managed to become beloved by both dads who stock up on industrial-sized everything for their suburban kingdoms, and Gen Zs who split bulk groceries with their roommates to save money. But how does Costco manage all this success? Because I figure there's gotta be more underneath the surface than the typical things that we know and love about Costco. So I dug into it. And in this video, we're unpacking the whole Costco playbook. How the membership model unlocks something so much bigger. Why Kirkland is more than just a typical private label brand. How Costco earns your trust and your impulse buys. And whether this warehouse giant can keep its magic in the digital world. Let's discuss. First and foremost, you guys know I'm not here to mess around. For those who have never been, or those who have been but want to vicariously feel the Costco magic, let's start with the store experience. You enter the massive warehouse-style retailer. You flash your membership card. That's right, I became a member for this video, but also it was just a matter of time. And are greeted by huge carts, warehouse lighting, concrete everywhere, the smell of rotisserie chicken, and Michelin tires. Sounds kinda incredibly weird now that I say it out loud, but it's weirdly comforting. Costco has no frills, minimal signage, and pallets stacked to the high heavens with vast amounts of inventory that only forklifts can move around. Something you might notice right off the bat is that most things here in Costco are huge. Selling in bulk and in large quantities are a famous part of Costco's business model, but more on that later. Now, aside from this brutalism chic vibe that Costco has curated, they are also famous for the treasure hunt. They reel you in with essentials at affordable prices, some of which actually lose money for the company, and then entice you with all of these other weird, interesting things to drive impulse buys. The most famous Costco loss leader that gets people in the door? The $1.50 hot dog and soda combo. This combo has been $1.50 since the 80s, and Costco management has made it very clear they are not going to change the price despite increasing prices and inflation for the last 40 years. And this isn't just a cheap wiener. It's an iconic part of the Costco experience. Even as a little kid, I remember coming into Costco with my parents and my brother, shopping, and then finishing with one of these bad boys. $1.50 every time. And it's become a bit of a cultural phenomenon. So yes, I am literally eating Costco's profits, but it works. It gets people in the door. And once you're inside, that's where the real treasure hunt begins. I joke that Costco is the only place where you can buy an industrial-sized tub of mayonnaise, a diamond ring, a 6-foot-tall teddy bear, and prescription glasses all in one place. But the common thread across all of that randomness, they are all good value for the money. And that's kind of the Costco promise. And finally, who are all these shoppers around me that I'm desperately trying to avoid to film this video? Well, the stereotype is that they're soccer moms coming here to buy 48 rolls of toilet paper, which isn't untrue. The average Costco customer is aged 39 to 55, household income over $100,000, married with kids, has a 4-year college degree or higher, and spends $100 or more per trip to Costco. However, Costco is actually proving to have some multi-generational appeal, which we'll talk more about later. But one thing that many Costco shoppers have in common is high brand loyalty, especially to Costco's wildly successful private label brand, Kirkland Signature. So let's dive into Costco's business model, how they make money, their product strategy, and the underrated success of their own private label. For a company that sells supersized everything, Costco makes surprisingly little profit from the stuff that's in your cart. Not so surprising. Retailers that have low costs generally do so by accepting lower profit margins. But when I dug into it further, I found something very interesting. Costco's public pricing rules state that they will only take a maximum of a 14% markup on name brand products. 14% is already much lower compared to traditional retailers who typically mark up name brand products anywhere from 25 to 50%. However, for their private label Kirkland, which they can produce at lower cost, they allow themselves to take just one more percentage point at a maximum 15% markup. Now, this might not seem that significant, but there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, the public price discipline literally stating that they will not take a higher markup than these percentages creates a ton of trust within their customer base. Costco would rather mark something low, move it off the shelves in huge quantities, keep you coming back, than to mark it up higher and having it sit around collecting dust. And this kind of breaks so many rules of retail. The co-founder, Jim Senegal, put it perfectly in a recent interview when he said, "Many retailers look at an item and say, I'm selling this for $10, but how could I sell it for $11? Costco looks at it and says, how can we get it to $9? And then later, how do we get it down to $8? But if Costco is not making fat profit margins on its products, where's the profit coming from? If you shop at Costco, I bet you can guess. Their real profit driver is membership fees. As of last year, Costco reported having 137 million members. Memberships range from $65 for the Gold Star in business to $130 for executive status. And unlike the $1.50 wieners, these membership prices have increased with inflation. Now, I knew the membership fees were a big part of Costco's business model because I'd read about the company before out of interest. But I didn't realize just how staggering these stats were until I did the research for this video. The membership fees contribute only about 2% of Costco's revenue, but account for 73% of their gross profit. Crazy. So to connect the dots, because I know I just threw a lot at you, Costco keeps prices aggressively low, builds trust with its razor-thin markups, gets you hooked on the experience, and then makes the most of its profits from those annual membership fees. Okay, super thin margins, low prices, but still, Costco's revenue last year was $254 billion. Once again, third largest retailer in the world, only behind Walmart and Amazon. So they're moving some serious volume. They must sell a ton of different products, right? Wrong. Again, most Costco locations only stock around 3,700 different products, which is so minuscule for how big these warehouses are, compared to a Walmart Supercenter, which sells about 140,000 different products. The strategy is, instead of overwhelming their customer with so many different choices, they choose 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 different brands to sell alongside their private label version, and they sell it in volume. And guess what this gives Costco? Extreme negotiating power. If the shelf only has 2 spots, and one of them is already taken by Kirkland, that means that every other brand is fighting for that one remaining seat at the Costco table. Needless to say, this gives Costco an enormous amount of leverage. Brands know that landing on the Costco shelf can mean millions of dollars in volume and long-term customer loyalty. So they're often willing to lower their wholesale prices for Costco, create better packaging formats, or even tweak their formula just to make it in. Another way Costco stays honest, they don't charge these brands for the shelf space once they're in, like many other retailers do. If a brand is here, it's because they presented the best deal to Costco and earned their way in. The limited selection also creates operational efficiency behind the scenes. With fewer products to manage, Costco can turn inventory faster, negotiate better shipping rates, reduce waste from expired products, and simplify everything from restocking to staff training. So, while other retailers are playing inventory Tetris by selling thousands and thousands of SKUs, Costco is moving massive volume of the same products over and over again. It is retail efficiency at its finest. This limited SKU model and negotiating power is something that we've seen before. Trader Joe's stocks limited products to avoid giving the customer decision fatigue. Erewhon has extreme negotiating power since products have to pass an extremely high bar of health to even be stocked at the stores. I think of Costco as sort of a combination of the two. So to sum up Costco's business model at a high level, you pay just to walk in the door. Those membership fees create stable, recurring profit, which lets Costco keep prices low, which builds trust and loyalty within you, the customer, which leads to bulk buying, which gives Costco massive supplier power. And this whole flywheel fuels a sense of value and discipline around the Costco brand that is pretty unmatched in retail. And this isn't just an American phenomenon. Costco has cracked the code in 14 different countries by keeping its core model intact while adapting to local tastes. In Japan, you'll find matcha Kit Kats in smaller bulk sizes for smaller homes. In Korea, you'll find bulgogi bake instead of chicken bake. I'm probably pronouncing that so wrong, bulgogi. I should have looked up the pronunciation before this video. Bulgogi. Bulgogi. In Canada, poutine in the food court, of course. And honestly, I want to go back to Iceland just to see what Icelandic things they have in the Costco that's about 7 miles south of Reykjavik. Seems like there's some fun stuff there, I looked it up. But across all these countries, same membership model, same Kirkland quality, same concrete aesthetic, but with enough local flavor to feel authentically Costco no matter where you are. You trust them to save you money, they trust you to renew your membership. Everybody wins. But there's one more piece of the puzzle that we gotta double click on. And it's probably my favorite part of their whole strategy, besides the hot dog. But my second favorite part of the Costco strategy is hiding in plain sight, and it might just be their biggest unlock of all. Let's talk about Kirkland. Costco's beloved one-size-fits-all Kirkland signature private label brand didn't exist before 1995. Before that, it was kind of a branding free-for-all. Costco had a whole collection of made-up names across a bunch of different product categories. One brand for paper towels, another for snacks, another for stationery. They would just create a new label whenever they launched a new product, which is pretty standard in retail to have a lot of different private label brands. So, why did they change to just Kirkland? In a recent interview with the Wall Street Journal, co-founder Jim Sinegal shared the story that sparked the Kirkland revolution. He was visiting a warehouse and asked the manager if a shipment of the Costco private label brand legal notepads had arrived. The manager said no, but when Jim went to the back to check for himself, he found the legal notepads branded Pinnacle sitting right there. The kicker? The manager didn't even realize that Pinnacle was one of Costco's brands. Cue the light bulb moment. If people inside Costco didn't even recognize their own private label brands, how were customers supposed to build brand trust or loyalty? So, Senegal made the radical call to consolidate all of their private label brands under one master brand. One name, one standard, one identity. Kirkland Signature, named after Costco's original headquarters in Kirkland, Washington. This might seem like the obvious move within the context of that story, but at the time, and even now, it actually goes against every playbook in retail. Successful department stores at the time, like Sears, were going in the opposite direction, launching even more private label brands to be able to target different demographics and price points. Even today, Target has over 45 different private labels, like A New Day for their clothing, Good and Gather for their food, each with its own curated aesthetic. Walmart even has over 20 private label brands. So why do companies do this? Well, there are a number of reasons. One, multiple brands can help segment identities and position each brand a little bit differently to appeal to different demographics. Two, it can also help hedge reputational risk. So if a Target food product flop happens, it doesn't taint your image of Target's apparel line, let's say. But Costco said nope. One brand to rule them all. And it has worked spectacularly well. Today, Kirkland Signature accounts for about a third of Costco's revenue, generating $86 billion just last year. That is more than Procter & Gamble alone, more than Kraft Heinz. It's a brand that customers know, love, and most importantly, trust. But why is Kirkland so trusted? Because when we think of private labels, I think a lot of us think generic, cheaper, slightly sad, lower quality knockoff of the real thing. And this is where Kirkland flips the script. Kirkland's goal is not just to offer a lower cost alternative. The goal has always been to match or beat the level of quality on name brands. And sometimes Kirkland is the national brand in disguise. Some fun examples. Kirkland batteries are made by Duracell, and they also sell Duracell. Kirkland coffee, famously manufactured by Starbucks. There's been a long-standing rumor that Kirkland vodka is just rebottled Grey Goose. That one's been debunked, sadly, but the fact that it holds up in a blind taste test against Grey Goose, that's saying something. And they don't sell it at this Costco, which is lame, but I thought you guys should know because Grey Goose gets talked about a lot. And Costco doesn't try to bury the Kirkland brand on the bottom shelves. Nope, it is right there, next to the name brand version that you know. And in many cases, customers choose Kirkland because they trust it more. Here are some fun facts and examples of Kirkland products that have gained an extra cult following. Kirkland is the largest seller of cashews in the entire world. Not Planters, not Blue Diamond, Kirkland. Their nut game, famously strong. They also sell $1 billion of toilet paper every year. $1 billion. And yes, there are Reddit threads comparing the performance of Kirkland toilet paper to Cottonelle and Charmin Ultra. People have opinions. The Kirkland protein bars, which are basically Costco's version of a Quest bar, fitness influencers love them. Kirkland golf balls, which are so good and so cheap that Titleist actually sued Costco, saying they must have copied their Pro V1 formula after the balls from Costco got so much praise from pro golfers. Costco actually countersued Titleist, and then it was settled out of court, so who knows, but those must be some good balls. The Italian olive oil that's actually made in Italy and passes authenticity tests every single year. The Kirkland wine collection, which is produced by some very reputable wineries in Napa and sold for a fraction of the price. They don't sell wine at this Costco, once again, kind of lame, but all of this builds into something pretty rare, a private label brand with a personality and a very high level of quality. Kirkland isn't the shadow brand, it's front and center, right there next to the name brand. And for many Costco members, it's one of the main reasons that they keep coming back. They don't think discount, they think this is probably the best deal in the store. Kirkland's quality and value is often cited as the #1 reason that shoppers renew their Costco memberships year after year. Crazy impressive stat to show for it, Costco's membership renewal rate sits at almost 93% in the US. That level of loyal customer retention is a rate that so many businesses could only dream of. And you know what? Count me in as a Kirkland stan. I can't think of any other private label, maybe Trader Joe's, definitely Trader Joe's, where I'm super stoked to see it. One of my friends brought over a Kirkland bottle of wine to my housewarming a couple years ago. I was thrilled to see it. My parents have bought Kirkland everything since I was the size of a little chicken nugget. I love Kirkland now at 27. I loved it when I was 10 and running around the wide aisles and riding the shopping carts with my brother. And I am sure I will still love it when I'm 50, probably even more. Which is a good segue into our next section. Now that we know the business model, we know the hot dog, we know the private label playbook, how is it that Costco, in its stereotypically boomer fashion, in all of its concrete glory, still manages to be beloved by all generations? Young people, older people, families, doomsday preppers, even TikTokers. Let's talk about how Costco is weirdly cool now and what that means for the company's future. It makes perfect sense to me why Trader Joe's is especially popular with young people. With its playful, colorful signage, its fun, quirky snacks, its famously super friendly employees in Hawaiian shirts, and affordable prices. Costco, on the other hand, is concrete, it's fluorescent, it's no frills. It's not exactly TikTok bait, and yet it's happening. Gen Z of all groups has become one of Costco's fastest growing customer segments. Of course, this is in part because Gen Z are becoming adults of grocery shopping age. But there's more to it than that, and it's not just the hot dog. With food prices still elevated near the peak levels that we saw in 2022, 2023, Gen Z has gotten creative. They're fighting inflationary prices by buying in bulk and then splitting the bill later with their roommates, friends, and family. A recent study by Advantage Solutions found that nearly 40% of shoppers aged 25 to 34 report splitting bulk groceries this way, with anecdotes from frat bros who pile into a car together and do a weekly run to Costco and then split the bill later on via Venmo. It's kind of cute if you think about it. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Costco's brand image is changing too. We know that Costco has always been about delivering a high quality product at a good price, but it seems that Gen Z is just now especially catching on to that. I say this as though I'm literally not Gen Z, but I'm a boomer at heart. According to a recent poll, Gen Z adults are more frequently describing Costco with the words premium, visionary, and customer-centric. In fact, Gen Z now views Costco's brand as higher quality than the general adult population does, which is kind of amazing when you think about the fact that Costco's vibe really seems to cater to people with like 4 kids. Also, when I said that Costco isn't exactly TikTok bait, turns out kind of actually is. A video by The Deal Guy titled 10 New Costco Deals You Need to Buy in July 2025 posted 9 days ago, 1.1 million views. Must be a crazy outlier, right? Wait, what? What's that? Another video by The Deal Guy titled 10 Things You Should Be Buying at Costco in 2025 posted just 2 weeks before that other one. Also 1.1 million views. Binging with Babish, trying every Kirkland signature product, 1.6 million views in 1 month. And finally, Bobby Parrish, Costco shopping guide for 2025, 2.1 million views in 7 months. Yes, these videos are being posted by huge channels with millions of subscribers, but even still, these Costco videos are outperforming the other videos on those channels. So Costco has more cultural cachet than I think a lot of us give it credit for, with its bulk grocery reviews and shopping guides generating millions of views. I don't know if you guys find this part as interesting as I do, but it's my job and I think it's fun to find those outliers, and I think it's so cool that Costco is one of them. Now, a lesser discussed part of what I think makes Costco so cool across generations is its product strategy. Unlike Trader Joe's, which deliberately corked trendiness with its seasonal drops in quirky snacks, Costco isn't trying to be cool. But then you look around and realize, is that Graza olive oil? Are those Birkenstocks? Is that Dyson? Costco is low-key kind of cool, and they've kind of mastered the quiet slip-in of the trendy product next to the generic thing. So while the main drivers that get people of all ages in the door are high-quality items at good prices, the trusted Kirkland brand, and of course, it doesn't hurt that Costco also does limited time runs of buzzy specialty item brands that help create that treasure hunt experience. It helps drive urgency and excitement to get you to go to Costco now instead of waiting until next month. And it also creates fun Costco haul videos. And this product strategy, whether you're a cost-conscious college student or a dad feeding a family of 5, I think they hit the sweet spot between value, discovery, and quality. And something about them not trying to be cool just makes them so cool. So we've covered the business model, we've covered the Kirkland empire, and the multi-generational appeal. But here's the million-dollar question, the $254 billion question. Can Costco keep this magic going forever? Because in my research, I did find some potential challenges on the horizon. First up, the online shopping revolution. While Amazon and Walmart have gone all in on grocery delivery, Costco has been, let's say, thoughtfully cautious with their e-commerce approach. They do offer some same-day delivery through Instacart and 2-day delivery on their site, but it's clunky, it's limited, and it's clearly not the main event. And maybe that's the point, because so much of the Costco magic happens within the warehouse. The treasure hunt, the free samples, the impulse buys, that weird satisfaction of lugging home a bunch of high-quality golf balls, I guess. How do you replicate that digitally? But Gen Z and younger millennials increasingly expect convenience. They want their groceries delivered, they want to be able to shop on their phones, and they want it now. In my opinion, Costco's challenge is evolving their digital experience without losing the warehouse magic that drives loyalty. And then there's the competition heating up on multiple fronts. Sam's Club is investing heavily in scan and go technology. Amazon Prime offers a membership for roughly the same price as a Costco membership, and obviously they ship very, very quickly. Even traditional grocers are launching better private labels and bulk options. Plus, there are natural limits to growth. Costco works best in suburban markets where people have cars and storage. These ideal locations are not infinite, especially within the US market, which is already saturated. But here's why I'm not betting against Costco. They have proven remarkably good at evolving without changing their core identity. The Kirkland brand alone is worth billions. Their supplier relationships are incredibly strong. And that almost 93% renewal rate, that's not just customers, that's a community of people who genuinely love shopping here. One more shout out for the hot dog. The fact that they've kept this $1.50 for 40 years while everything else has inflated tells you everything you need to know about their discipline and long-term thinking. They're not only chasing quarterly profits, they're building something that lasts. Will Costco look the same in 10 years? Probably not. Will it still be a place where you can trust the quality, get genuine value, and walk out with more than you planned? I'm betting yes, because good value delivered with integrity never goes out of style, even if the delivery method evolves. So yeah, on paper, Costco sounds like dad energy. No ads, no frills, no music, no convenient sizing, and yet it is one of the most beloved and bulletproof retailers on the planet. Because underneath it all is a strategy that is deceptively smart. Use discipline and scale to earn trust and then double down on that with every decision. That's why people will drive across town for Kirkland cashews, why they'll renew their membership year after year at a nearly 93% rate, and why Gen Z are showing up in droves. It's not just a store, it's a well-oiled system, and if there's one thing that Costco does not sell, it's shortcuts. Question for you, what part of the Costco business do you find the most interesting? And if you're a Costco shopper, what's your ultimate purchase? I read every single comment, so let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this. They take a long time to research and to write, but I really enjoy it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, Turtle out. No, that's my hot dog. Thank you very much. Hell yeah. Nut game, thought it was funny. I make another double entendre later about the golf balls. So naughty. Kirkland. Perfect. Does it look ladylike? Wine, vodka. Is it Grey Goose? Who's to say? Not sell, it's shortcuts. Hell yeah. If I sat down, should I sit? I'm like, Kirkland. Quality. One more. Little leg pop. Can you tell I've been hitting the gym? Bet you can. Can you see how big it is? This is absurd. It's so soft. Oh, I love Squishmallows. Okay, nice. That's perfect. Rotisserie. Thing in your cart. Am I getting too silly? Okay. Whoa, she's crazy. Okay, moving on. I have a whole new level of confidence in this outfit. Okay, ready? 163. Okay, Kirkland. Bless you. I could sit up here. Does this look good? Sometimes I'm like, how is this my job? And look who I ran into, a subscriber at Costco.
I followed her. She's the best.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you so much. Let's get a hot dog. Hey, if you liked this video, I bet my bottom $1.50 that you would also like this video. Check it out.